Health IQ podcast. Listen up. The battle against big tobacco's new tactics.
If you have a teenager, the information in this episode will be important to you. We are talking about an issue that is a growing problem in middle and high schools across the nation. Today, our guest traveled all the way over from Albuquerque, and Andrea McNeely with No Minor Sales. And she brought with her a youth advocate, Alyse Jasper, who's a student at Tucumcari High School. Our crew today is Bobby Hockaday and Joyce Runyon, and I am Brenda Bishop. Andrea, we want to thank you for coming over, and Alyse, thank you for driving across town to see us today. I thought it would be really important just to start with some information about what No Minor Sales is and your organization, and then we can go on from there.
Yeah, sounds great. Well, first of all, thanks so much for having us. So what No Minor Sale is we are an educational and advocacy campaign. We're focused on ultimately ending the illegal sale of nicotine products to minors. And even though we know you have to be 21 or older to purchase nicotine legally, we know that youth in high school, middle school, and unfortunately even elementary school are still accessing and using these products. So there is still work that needs to be done, which is why we're here today. Mm-hmm. And I also have, like you mentioned, the youth advocate from the Evolvement program, if you want to introduce yourself.
I'm Alyse, and I work with Evolvement, and pretty much just telling schools that what we do for Evolvement by just stopping nicotine around schools and how worse it's getting around the world. And so we do believe we could make a change, not in just New Mexico, but around the state.
So do you do presentations within the school, or do you just talk to administration? How do you talk to the schools?
So we do board meetings. We also do presentations to elementary and middle schools. Mm-hmm. And we pretty much go to, I don't know, just a whole bunch of schools. Yep. And we talk about why we think there should be a change around the schools and what changes do need to be made. And yeah. So
have you noticed an issue with nicotine use here in our schools?
Yes, a lot actually. Mm-hmm. Mostly more than in youth than adults nowadays. And especially in schools, you could see youth kids in the bathrooms and classrooms and just around town using them more than they should be.
So Andrea was telling me that you are on the leadership team, and you Yes. just got to come back from a summit. Can you tell us a little bit about the leadership team and then your summit?
So we spent 4 days in Albuquerque, and we did a networking event where people came and we talked about what we do there in Evolvement and what we are planning to do, like presentations to schools. And I don't know where else to go with it.
Yeah, so they mostly were able to develop their leadership skills, their public speaking skills. We did a lot of different sessions where they got to learn how to present to organizations or how to speak with state legislators, some important skills that they'll need to learn and know while they continue these opportunities throughout the school year. So yeah, it was a really great
So you said you talk to schools. So as a member of the leadership team, do you get to go to other schools other than Tucumcari High School?
You can, yes.
Yeah, it's mostly for elementary, middle school presentations. So we do a lot of nicotine use prevention education at elementary, middle schools. But we are also, with the Evolvement program, we are currently at 16 partner schools across the state of New Mexico. So we go into the schools like Tucumcari High School, and we train them to become youth advocates, and they get to work on all of the campaign efforts, which is great.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. So I know that in the past, when you have come to a council meeting, you've asked people in the meeting to sign a contract.
Yep.
And that's part of your No Minor Sales campaign. You want to talk just briefly about that contract?
Yeah, so we do what are called partner presentations. So one of the ways that we gain support for the campaign is speaking with local organizations and then having them sign on as a partner. That basically just means that they can allow us to use their logo on our website and social media. And the great thing about that is that when we do go to speak with state legislators, we can actually show them that all of these organizations across the state support the work that we do, which is really important because it shows tangible evidence that there are organizations that care about this issue and that they want to see change happen. So it's really important part of the work that we do is gaining that support.
And do you work with business communities to talk to them about the importance of not selling to people under 21?
Yeah, so actually, one of the things that we do with No Minor Sale is that we educate our tobacco retailers. So basically, any retailer that sells a nicotine product, we make sure that they know about licensing requirements, that they're up to date on their licensing, that they're always checking IDs, following the law, making sure they're not selling to anyone who's under 21. So that's also part of that education component of our campaign.
And nowadays, there are a lot of products that contain nicotine that don't contain tobacco.
Yes.
Which is what the new challenge for schools is.
Yes, definitely.
You want to talk about some of those, the vaping concerns that we have about nicotine?
Sure. Yeah, so basically, I think you kind of alluded to it, that there's a problem with, mostly I'm assuming vaping in the school, definitely. So yeah, I think that's one of the greatest challenges right now. Actually, just to pull out a little information, there's a National Youth Tobacco Survey that gets released every year. There was one that was released in 2024 that stated that there are currently 1.63 million youth across the United States who are currently using e-cigarettes. And of that amount, it's about 88% that are using flavored e-cigarettes. So I know that we did mention, vaping is a problem, but it's also just the flavors that are the main issue and the reason that youth are using and accessing these nicotine products. So yeah, I would say vaping is a huge concern.
Well, I think there's a lot of misconception that vaping is healthier than cigarette smoking.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I would say definitely not.
Yeah, I would.
Like you said, there's a big misconception that it's just, water vapor, it's not as bad, but there's actually a ton of different chemicals, carcinogens, and heavy metals that are found in vapes. So it's definitely not healthy. It shouldn't be something that you're inhaling into your lungs, especially developing lungs.
So, as you say, developing lungs, even though our teenagers think they may be grown, but their bodies are still developing.
Exactly.
And so especially as you say, you talk to elementary kids, I can imagine that getting all that vapor into your lungs is probably not very healthy for them. Is there any research that talks about the damage for young lungs?
I know, that's a tough one. Young lungs. There is some research. Vapes are a relatively new product in the grand scheme of things. I think it'll take more time to figure out exactly the health effects of using vapes, but we already know that it does cause lung damage. It causes damage to the alveoli, which are those little air sacs that take in oxygen, release carbon dioxide. So we already know that it damages that process. It makes it more difficult to breathe. And just like I mentioned, it damages the lungs. So I think we're gonna sadly find out more information about the damaging effects of vapes in the near future, but.
So you're talking about making it more challenging to breathe. So if you're a student athlete, it would be incredibly important that you didn't vape, because that would make it even harder to breathe, and you need lung capacity.
Yes. You need lung capacity just to even learn at school.
Yes. Well, and that's a whole nother thing is is there an effect on vaping on our brains and our ability to function?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think, the biggest thing is that it does have some short-term effects of like being able to, concentrate better initially, but in the long term, it definitely can cause some cognitive issues, especially with developing brains. So, yeah, there's really nothing good about it. Yeah, definitely causes those long-term effects. And I think it also can affect mental health, causes anxiety, and it can worsen depression as well. So,
So vapes are, we should have brought a vape, I guess. I don't have a vape.
to show, yes.
But it's like a cartridge with liquid and then batteries, which we often hear are dangerous as well.
Yes.
But is it comparable to a cigarette as far as the nicotine, those kinds of things?
Yeah, so comparable to a degree. I think there's definitely different additives, and obviously the way that you actually receive nicotine is a little bit different. But I think the greatest problem with vapes is that they are highly unregulated by the FDA. So we kind of don't know what is in the product exactly. And a lot of these vape companies can put pretty much whatever they want into vapes, and they don't really have any regulation. So there's no one to check to make sure that it's all safe, or the various levels of nicotine and things. So,
But they would be pretty high in nicotine.
yeah, and I think that just the ability to kind of like keep hitting the vape is problematic too. So you're just receiving a lot more of that nicotine, I would say, over time, because you're using it way more often.
And becomes, I'm sure, very addictive.
Yes, definitely.
So you mentioned flavorings as a way that they're targeting youth, but what other kinds of things do they do that target youth in advertising?
I think I can let you speak to that a little bit too, but one of the things that they do is that they actually create products that look like school supplies, or some of the products actually are little video games. So you have to continue vaping in order to progress in the video game. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Pretty crazy. So even though all the tobacco industry says these products are meant for 21 and older, I think it's pretty obvious who they're targeting.
Yes.
Yeah. So when it comes to packaging, the flavors, like you mentioned, like I mentioned in that youth tobacco survey, it's about 88% using flavors, and those flavors are fruit, candy, desserts, other sweets, mint, and menthol. So the flavors are probably the biggest draw, I would say. I don't know if you've seen it in your school.
I have seen one vape, and it's hidden as a pin. So it works as a pin, and you can also hit it like nicotine. So
it actually writes.
It actually writes. And then when the teacher isn't looking, they'll just do it real quick, and then they'll start writing with it again.
So when you have a pen like that writes, and you just, does it release that big cloud? I mean, I see in the the big clouds of coming out of the car, and the teachers don't notice the big clouds?
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Or maybe they'll just blow it down into their...
Yeah, that's what you mostly see, is them just like opening their jacket or something and doing it real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty bad.
So and I have seen pictures that they look like highlighters. They look
highlighters.
like
USBs.
Yeah.
They have ones that are actually like in the strings of your hoodie. Some are
in the strings of your hoodie.
Yep. Some are smartwatches.
Some are phone cases.
Phone cases.
Yeah.
Yep. So
phone cases.
Yeah.
Yep. Basically, pretty easy to conceal products. And I think they're just the tobacco industry is making these products more easily concealable so that youth can keep them hidden and use them throughout the day, at school, at work, wherever. Yeah.
Well, and I have seen more adults because I'm not around youth that often, that will be at their place of business doing programming, and you see them repeatedly going outside to do their little vape, and you're just like, how do you get any work done?
Seriously, though. I know, it's very distracting. And I think that, I don't know if this is the case at your school, but they oftentimes will go to the bathroom or like say, I have to go with the nurse, my stomach hurts, and, just to get out of class.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Where do you typically see them?
The bathroom, mostly.
Yeah, mostly the bathroom.
So as youth use these vapes more often, does it become hard for them to make it through a whole class period then?
Yes. You'll most likely hear kids going to the bathroom probably 10 minutes in class. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So they can make it like 10 minutes, 15 minutes,
Yeah,
and then
Before
they
needing to.
Yes.
That's pretty scary.
Yes.
And then we're affecting those important air sacs in our lungs. If they burst or stop working, then we get holes basically in our lungs. So that's another pretty scary thing. This could be lifelong
It can be lifelong. Health effects.
health effects.
Chronic bronchitis, emphysema, things like that. Yeah.
So you mentioned chemicals. Can you talk about a few of the chemicals that are in vape liquids?
Yeah, so I have some notes here, sorry. There's a lot, that's why it's so challenging. But one of the more common ones, it's an additive, I guess you can say, is propylene glycol, which is a food additive, but it's also used in the fake smoke and fog machines. So I don't know if you want to be inhaling that. There's also vegetable glycerin, heavy metals like lead, nickel, and tin from the actual device itself, volatile organic compounds, carcinogens like formaldehyde, acrolein, which is actually used to kill weeds. So definitely don't want to be putting that into your lungs, and obviously highly addictive nicotine, which is one of the biggest concerns.
So what can parents do to help their youth make good decisions and maybe not choose vaping?
What would you say?
Well, it's definitely hard to stop.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty hard.
Yeah, I think the greatest thing is obviously continue the education around the dangers of using these products. I think that a lot of students know the dangers of the products, unfortunately, and they still continue to use it. It's a highly addictive substance, So I think for parents, it's about being understanding that this is one of the most challenging things you'll face when trying to quit, letting them know that you're there for them and that there are cessation resources available. So cessation resources meaning quitting resources. So just letting them know that there are those resources out there. There's actually a program called Live Vape Free. So that's for anyone between the ages of 13 and 26 actually now. And it connects them with a quit coach so that they don't have to go through the quit experience by themselves.
And even if they are going through it and like their parents don't know, there's also like text now numbers that you can text and they'll help you through it, the whole thing.
Yep, that's that text. I think it's Text Vape Free.
Text Vape Free and Live Vape Free?
Yeah, so it's with Live Vape Free, and I have the number here actually. It's you can text Vape Free to 873-373 if you want to be connected with a coach, just completely through texting.
We'll put that up on the screen, and we'll make sure we put that in our blog as well so that people can access that. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about with vaping or no minor sales that we hadn't covered?
Anything else you wanted to mention?
I don't think so. I think we pretty much covered everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very important topic, and parents need to be aware. And of course, modeling is another way I think of that.
Yeah.
Parents who themselves are vaping might want to consider.
Definitely.
It's definitely hard, especially stopping as a youth person if your parents are doing it and people around you, so they're like copying and like their parents and following in their footsteps.
Yeah, and they just have easier access to the products too. It's in the house, so just I'm gonna pick that up and use it.
Yeah,
it's a little easier.
And so yes, I'm sure it makes that much easier. And once you get started, so if we could not start, then that would make it easier. You don't have to quit.
Yeah, and the tobacco industry targets youth because they know that if you start using a nicotine product before your brain stops developing, which is around the age of 25, you're much more likely to develop that lifelong addiction. And that's exactly what they want, those lifelong customers. The tobacco industry is actually quoted calling youth replacement users because, as older generations you pass away from tobacco-related illness, the youth are replacing them. And that's why they're creating these products to be so appealing to them, so that they can be those replacement customers, essentially, which is really sad and unfortunate. Yeah.
Well, we have some thank you gifts for you. We want to give you, one of our Health IQ tumblers.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming and presenting this very important topic. And we would like to invite you to come back to our next episode as we share another topic that will be important for your health.
Make sure you have the tools and support you need to join this vital fight and help our youth. First, for immediate confidential support. If you or a young person you know needs help quitting vaping, remember the Live Vape Free program. Youth aged 13 to 17 can text VAPE FREE to 873373. For those 13 to 26, you can visit their website at livevapefreenm.com. Also, for adults 18 and over looking to quit, check out Quit Now NM at quitnownm.org. And to learn more about the incredible advocacy work we discussed today, visit No Minor Sale at nominersale.com. You can also find them on Facebook and Instagram at No Minor Sale. These resources are here to empower you and our community. Please use them, share them, and let's continue to make a difference together. Special thanks to guest contributors Andrea McNeely, Campaign Manager, No Minor Sales, and Alyse Jasper, Evolvement Youth Advocate and Tucumcari High School student, and our host, Brenda Bishop, Quay County Health Council Coordinator. Podcast crew, Directors, Robert F. Hockaday. Producers, Robert F. Hockaday, Joyce Runyon. Camera Operator, Robert F. Hockaday. Second Assistant Operator, Joyce Runyon. Editor, Joyce Runyon. Music provided by David Morris. Funding for this podcast is provided by New Mexico Legislative Appropriation for Representative Jack Chaco. Brought to you by Quay County Health Council. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at Quay County Health. If you have content ideas, reach out to us at healthiqpodcast@gmail.com.
This podcast was created solely for educational and entertainment purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for advice from a healthcare or mental health professional.